Good.
In 3 seconds.
Okay.
Oh, we're live.
Oh, we are live. Good morning, Kylo at Kona, and all you feisty triathletes listening on the feed and at home today. I am here. I'm Sarah Gross, and I'm here with my lovely co-host
Kelly O'Mara.
for our 5th episode of Watch the Women of Kona, which is brought to you by Bonk Breaker, Salt Stick, Orca, Pillar, and Kerr Sports.
And I got to be our final episode, but we will be doing a post-race show on Sunday. Last year we did it right after the race at night, and I think we learned.
I think that my brain was way too dead. Kelly was just coming alive, of course, so I just leaned on her. But yeah, recording at like 9 p.m. after the race?
So this year we were doing it Sunday morning. We'll have all interviews with everybody after the race and analyze it. But today is our pre-race preview show.
Yes.
Very exciting.
Very exciting. We're going to give you our picks. We're going to tell you what happened at the press conference yesterday, all the inside deets, right after we roll our intro and hear from a couple of our partners.
And Element Rival Multisport Watch from Wahoo are two devices that you, the feisty woman listening to this podcast, need in your triathlon toolbox. The Element Bolt by Computer is designed for performance and engineered for simplicity. It has a sleek, simple, intuitive ride experience, and its smart navigation with turn-by-turn directions will help you explore new roads. The Element Rival Multisport Watch delivers a simple yet powerful user experience. Unique multisport features like touchless transition, multisport handover, and perfect view zoom create a seamless performance advantage whether training for a race or competing. To learn more about the Element Bolt and Element Rival, head to wahoofitness.com. Is only possible when you fuel them. That's why we partnered with Bonk Breaker and Salt Stick to create the Feisty Fueled Box. Each box contains 2 PB&J energy bars, 2 PB&J protein bars, 2 packets of Rainbow Blast energy chews, 2 packets of the new OMG energy chews, 2 packets of Salt Stick fast chews, 3 stick packs of Salt Stick drink mix, 2 packets of Salt Stick capsules, and a Feisty sticker and custom card with product details, discounts, and fueling tips. That's over $40 worth of sports nutrition for just $30 plus free shipping. To order your box, head over to bonkbreaker.com/feistybox today, and you can get 20% off all other products at bonkbreaker.com and saltstick.com with the code FEISTY.
All right. So we went to the press conference yesterday. We do have some clips that we're going to play today. Sarah, I know we keep talking about vibes. But press conference vibes. So what's interesting?
There were vibes.
So
we need to talk about it again.
So one of the things, we keep saying, this is a chance for women to have their own stage, but in an actual, very real, practical sense. For example, it was 10 women at the press conference, only women at the press conference, which means that you got to hear from more women, and they got to have more time to talk. And you thought it really also changed, the feel of it.
I did. Did you not?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess you're right. Right. Because usually, first off, it's a guy leading the press conference. Yeah. And we had Joanne. We had a woman Murphy leading it.
Yeah.
And then it's not like they always ask one question to each person. I'm not saying it's not equal, but there's this thing where the men tend to talk. They tend to take up more space.
Well, yeah. It's just that's why we talk about it in terms of vibe. The vibe was not massively different, but 10% different in a way that's significant.
11.2.
11.269%
different. Yeah.
Percent different, precisely. Because for example, the second question that Joanne asked, the woman sitting at the end, Kat Matthews, thank you. She immediately there was a little bit of Kat being very real about her accident, and you could see the way she was responding that she was emotional about being here and getting on the start line again, right? Which I think some of those little things don't necessarily come out. Sometimes the men make a lot of jokes, which is fine and cool, and the women make also jokes, but I think just sometimes there's a minor amount of overshadowing.
There's a little bit of overshadowing.
Didn't exist.
And you do tend to come out of I don't know how many times I come out of press conferences, and I sit around with the media dudes, and they're the women just they just don't have as much personality, right? They just go you have Lionel and you have Sam, you have the Norwegians. Yeah. I'm they're so funny.
And then we blame the women.
And then you blame the women. But Daniela is funny.
Yeah, a lot
Chelsea
of them are funny.
actually.
Annie's funny.
Annie's funny. Now, like there are some English language issues. Obviously, like we don't appreciate the jokes as much. You appreciate them.
Mm-hmm.
So people actually like they have personality, but also like a lot of the women are funny in like they're like outright funny, but they're also like it's like low key. It's like sarcastic. You have to like pay attention.
Yeah.
You have to pay attention.
Yeah, no, and you could see like the dynamic between them too,
Mhm.
you know, which was like very interesting, which sometimes I don't feel like I've seen it in quite the same way, just like seeing the women's race and some of the tensions between them or some of the jokes and the camaraderie.
Right.
But I just thought it was cool.
They also, I mean, we were joking, like, there were a lot of mom questions, but there was a chance to, a lot of people did also get a chance to talk about what they cared about, which I thought we don't always get a chance to really hear, like, what matters to them. And they all did kind of talk about, like, why this matters, what matters to them, you know, why it's important, why being mom's important. We got a lot of moms
content, but you know, I do think that it's important to talk about all of the things, right? So like we say, okay, on one hand, like we don't want to treat women like they're not athletes and always just be asking them about what they're wearing, or about their kids.
We should have asked them about what they were wearing. I totally forgot about
should have.
Actually, legitimately, they were all wearing like similar style jean shorts, except for Taylor. And I was like, damn it, maybe I was like, I spent a lot of time thinking I should get like those shorts.
I'm wearing the wrong shorts.
I'm wearing the wrong shorts. I was like, I don't have like the right, and somehow they're all like baggy jean shorts.
Yes.
And I was like, why are my jean shorts
Lucy's
tight?
were especially cool.
Yeah, I was like very focused on this. I was like, my jean shorts are way too tight. I'm not as cool.
Yeah, so, your jean shorts are so like 5 years ago.
Oh, Kelly. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm sorry to tell you. No, but jean shorts aside, I actually think that like there is a combination of things that we care about as female athletes. That's the right thing to talk about. So some of them are the race, right? And some of them are like our strengths and weaknesses racing. Some of them are about how motherhood affects us as athletes. Some of them are about how our period affects us as athletes, right? So I think like all of the things can be together in one big mush of things because that is like who we are as women and who they are as athletes too.
It was also a like there was one point you were looking at all of them after you leaned over to me and you were like, this is a crazy field.
Well, I was getting shivers. Like honestly, I was sitting like Renee came over and sat next to us and I said to her, like, have you ever seen anything like this at a press conference? And she's like, no. There's literally 7 women here who could win. And that's like not including any potential dark horses. I was literally like, I was looking at some of them I raced against, like Anne and Lisa, like, and I know firsthand like how good they are and how deep that, like, I don't know. I was having feels.
You were having feels?
I was.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All the feels. And so one of the questions that you know we got, and that I think everybody was waiting for, was we did hear from Daniela about, you know, if she wins this year. Everyone keeps saying she's won 5 titles, and I was keeping like, she's won 10. Okay, 5 Ironman, 5 70.3. Let's be super real. But so if she wins here, it'll be 6, which is like a big deal. And so we heard from her about, you know, what she feels about that.
Try not to think about this too much. Of course, it will be a huge honor to, you know, join that club. They're all amazing athletes, and what they've done for the sport is, it's pretty special. And still, I think what's more important to me is that I can have a race where I feel I can be proud of and where I can go hard. And I haven't had that the last 2 times I raced here. I was like not having my best days, and I feel that's what I kind of hope to, you know, to be able to go hard. And if you then finish first against these amazing ladies, I think that's the feeling. And you know, it's not about how many titles. I think it's each race to me is like a picture, and you want to create that amazing picture, and every race is different, and I think it will be anyway a new experience, and I'm really looking forward to that.
So Daniela kind of threw it in there, you know, if she has a good day, to win against this field would be crazy. And we heard that from kind of all of them were saying, to win against this field, I mean, it's going to take, you cannot mess up.
Yeah, you can't mess up. You probably need a little bit of luck on your side too. You probably need the race to play out in a way that suits your strengths. For example, like for Annie, if it's an easier bike ride, she might be able to come through on the run, things like that. I loved how Daniela was so humble, like to see a 5-time champion just saying like, you know, it's going to be hard out there to win. Yeah,
it is going to be hard. I feel like I should add that. It is.
Like
This is my insight.
You guys can take this commentary, just share this with your friends. You're like, Sara and Kelly said it was hard.
The Ironman crew, we did some like recording for them on their dog the other day, and they were like, "Well, what is it going to take to win Kona?" And I was like, "I don't know, man. Like, I've never won Kona." But it is a crazy field. I think, like, just to get some numbers out there. I mean, we have 3 returning champs. First off the top of the bat, it's rare that you even have 3 returning champs. We have Daniela and Chelsea. Then you have a whole bunch of podiums. You have like Lucy, you have Lisa Norden podiums, you have Laura Phillip podium.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of all I'm like going through the list now. Sarah Crowley's podium
Kat
here.
Matthew and St. George.
Well, Kat Matthews podium in St. George. And so then but Kat wasn't here last year. And so we have Kat back, which is great. And then you have Taylor. So we have a 70.3 world, 2x 70.3 world champion who's never done an Ironman. And so it's just nuts. It's nuts.
It's nuts. Like, I can't, I don't even know.
Yeah, I feel like
it's
I
amazing.
Just like forgot someone, and I'm trying to sit here going down the list, being like, who did I just forget?
Sarah True? Did we say Sarah True?
We did say Sarah True. Yeah.
I think, you know what? It's one of those things that we're now seeing come to fruition around like the depths of the women's field, right? Like, we've talked about how like the women, it takes a little
next week about how that race could play out, and then we'll get down into the weeds of analyzing exactly what that's going to look like.
It's everyone from last year, plus all the people that were missing last year, plus like random new people. Taylor Nib. How do you think it's going to play out? Like, what do you think is actually going to happen? I'm sure you've thought about it.
So I think there's going to be a bigger swim group because obviously Lucy Charles, Lauren Brandon, but then you've got like a Rachel Zelinkas, Beck Clark, and I think if you've got a couple of good swimmers, but you've got a bigger group of them, they can sort of potentially catch on the back of the feet, and then someone else could get on the back of that feet, and that actually could make a bigger front group. So like I said, a Lucy, a Lauren, a Rachel Zelinkas, Taylor Nib, then you've got a Hayley, a Beck Clark, Fenella in there, and then I think even like a Kat Matthews is swimming really well. She could if they're sort of on feet catching on, I think that could like pull people up. So that's gonna be interesting, and then that potentially creates more of a group, a lead group at the front. I think someone like Taylor Nib, very unknown, but she could easily do a Daniela and ride her way into another postcode.
Are we calling that a Daniela now?
I'm calling it Daniela. And so I think Taylor could potentially do a Daniela and ride herself into another postcode on the bike, and then potentially run quite conservatively because she's in that. I think Kath Matthews is going to be a key player. It could be a surprise for Lucy and a Lauren. They might be in a pack at the front, which is something Lucy's never had before. So that actually might benefit Lucy because then she's got people to work with and come off the run and be able to run. And if she can put it together, she's been second a lot of time, but it could be the year that she turns it over. And then I think, you got people that are slightly a Radka, like bumping into the pool and like, oh yeah, Radka's here, like class athlete. Sarah True hasn't necessarily performed in Kona, but has won the Ironmans she's done and is fourth, is a world-class athlete. Elisa Norden, a Sarah Sphinx.
You're saying there's a lot of very good people. Yeah, okay.
Now listing the whole start list just to keep everyone happy.
All right. I feel like I needed to comment that I put a hat on because it is so hot out. And every year, there's a lot of debate about the weather and how it's going to impact race. So this is why I'm saying this, guys. It is extra humid and hot today. I almost didn't make it back in time for my run for our start of our show.
Yeah, it hasn't rained for a couple days, and that's usually if there's no rainfall, the humidity builds and builds.
Super hot, super humid.
To feel it,
which could cause some issues. But separate from that, it's actually been pretty mild.
It's been a mild year. There are some years here where it's just blazing every day you go outside. But last weekend was actually overcast for a couple days.
Yeah.
And then, it's been, it's weird to say mild
Right, it's still miserable.
but it's in Kona terms.
In Kona terms, it's a mild.
It's been a relatively mild year. So, the last time we had a super mild year, remember with no wind and Daniela biked like 420 something. Do you remember
insane,
this? Stuff like that can happen.
Stuff like that can happen. So, like Sid kind of said there, and I appreciated the whole, no, I'm just naming the field.
Yeah.
I'm just naming everyone who is in the field. But like she said, and a lot of people have said this, because there is a bigger field now, and because, 50 women do affect the race dynamics, then it actually can change. Like, there are a lot more people who can swim. Not this, like Lucy showed us at the training swim last weekend. She still won it by 3 minutes. She still was like, oh, you all think you're going to keep up with me?
Right.
You're not going to keep up with me.
Yeah. She had to show them.
She had to show them that. But besides that, there is still a lot more people who can not just like stick with Lucy, but maybe they can stick on the back of the feet of the person who can stick on the feet. So it kind of strings it out there.
Yeah.
And then what's the whole, the back of the caboose of the train is still on the train?
Yes. It tows more people along. The other thing is that even if Lucy does make a break, or if there's 2 or 3 of them that make a break, it's still, if there's faster swimmers in that next group, they're still closer coming out of the water. There's still more of them to kind of see each other on the bike and work together a little bit. And so that could make them bridge up to Lucy or the small Lucy group fast.
I don't think we're going to see, if you remember the men's race last year, it was 37 people in the front group coming out of the swim. And I don't think we're going to see that. I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
But we are going to see, I think, a bigger group, which will then impact who makes that break. It's going to be a much bigger deal. In the past, it's been oh, Daniela is only 5 minutes down and she can ride through that. And I don't know that is as much of going to be a thing.
Yes, exactly. And I think there's also a factor there in terms of how you decide to play the bike course. Right. So if a group goes, do you go with them? Or do you wait?
And this is where I'm so excited about Taylor.
Right. Will there be people that go with them that blow up? Will there be people that wait that should have gone?
Right.
It's hard to tell how everyone's going to make their decisions on race day.
And this is where I am. So a lot of them are used to racing each other. They're oh my God, the amount the pros get I was 30 seconds behind and coming out of the water this time. And last week I was only 50 seconds behind, whatever, right? They know. But nobody knows with Taylor. So I think it's going to throw them all. So when they're going to come out of the water in that big group. People are going to be should I push? Should I not push? And when Taylor decides to go on the bike, half the pro women are going to be oh, fuck, I should go. Should I not go? I don't know. And then half of them are going to be oh, she's going to blow up. And then should I blow myself up? And so I think they're going to be out there panicking and making choices.
Well, I don't know about panicking.
No, there's going to be a little panicking.
Well, okay, maybe some panicking. Panicking would be more fun.
It'd be way more fun.
But I think for some people
won't panic.
They know their own limit. So they know how many watts they can be pushing.
Sure.
And if you're 20 watts ahead of your race pace that you want to be pushing, you're probably going too hard.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So I think some of them actually do know that and they understand their metrics and they have a good sense of how hard they're going. It's just whether or not they listen to their bodies.
Right.
Also.
Some people are still going to be tempted.
They are.
Yeah. Especially with the more dynamic biking that we've seen kind of last year here and everything, where it's not just, oh, I'm just going to lock into my pace. It's no, you have to respond because that's the race now. And you are in the pro field. You're not here just to go out and have your day. You're racing in the pro field for the title. You have to respond to the race goes by you.
Yeah. Well, and Taylor said yesterday at the press conference that she kind of said she's just here for the experience.
She said, well, Taylor's funny, right?
Which is
she said she really wants to win in 2025. And so she's here now this year.
Well, yeah, because everyone says, why, right?
Right.
Everyone says, in Kona, you need to have a race experience there. You need to earn your cred points, whatever that is. I personally am maybe you don't.
She's also never done an Ironman before, so she maybe you want. Chelsea won here in her second Ironman ever. So obviously it's possible. But I think that's part of Taylor's well, I was already coming. My mom's here. Saves me the flight. I'll just do an Ironman.
So if she's coming for the experience, she might not do this thing that we all think she's going to do, take a flyer up the front. She might just sit in.
I've never seen her sit in anything ever. Not even a group ride in Boulder. Okay.
Okay. Fair.
So those so Taylor's the big unknown. We know Lucy will be in the front of the swim. And it's always just a question. Lucy was injured earlier this year, and so we haven't seen her race as much. But she's definitely coming back. pretty strong. I mean, she was
coming back is a
nice,
thing,
actually,
right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
if you come into this rested, you know, like her like had a little bit too coming back from an injury, like her crash. That's an advantage here.
And everyone keeps saying, "Oh, she had an accident." You're like,
I know
she got
hit by a car.
Like,
yeah.
let's be very, very real. She like broke
Absolutely.
vertebrae. So yeah, Kat's here, Kat's back, and she's just coming off second at T70.3 Worlds, which isn't even. I mean, Kat's a great athlete, but I would say she's a better full than half athlete.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's like very, very encouraging for her. I think, and we've never seen her here. It's actually her first time in Kona. So I think a lot of people are, you know, what's the word? Backing her. A lot of people are backing her.
Yeah.
I've been like quietly like my everyone knows like my huge pick is Chelsea, but I think like the quiet like no one paying attention to is Anne and Laura.
Yeah.
Like they've actually just been super solid all year, kind of like quietly in the background.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
And Laura's actually she's won every Ironman she's done except here.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I just feel like she has, like, we know she's an excellent athlete. We know she got a penalty here last year, which would have actually changed her place in the race.
About it.
She was not happy about it. And she's got the eye of the tiger.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, I mean, Daniela, we heard from, you never know what's going to happen with Daniela. Not these days. But like you said, I mean, like she said, like when she's on, she went 8:08 in Raw. Like every time it's like, oh, she's ready to retire.
Right. And when people, my favorite is like, when people are like, well, you can never write off Daniela. I'm like, was somebody writing off Daniela like that you're responding to? Like, almost like when people say that, they are actually a little bit writing her off.
Well,
And
even last year, I remember I was at Oceanside like a month and a half before she won the title in St. George. And I was at Oceanside and she had a bad day. And I remember talking to her after and I was like, oh, she seems like she might be like, this might be a retirement. I was like, yeah, she seems like she might be done. And then she like won her fifth world title. And I was like, oh, sorry, I was wrong.
Well,
sorry.
one thing is like Daniela does seem more relaxed than the Daniela that like I knew 10 years ago. Right. And certainly in the pre-race, like I've known a relaxed version of her, but not race week, you know? But like we see her a little bit more like, hey, how's it going? Race week kind of thing. And I think that could be a good thing.
Probably.
You know, that she's what'd you say? She's grown up in the sport.
She's grown up. She has had a rough couple of weeks, though, we know, and she definitely is a little tired. And there's a few people who've had Sarah Crowley's back too. Sarah Crowley wasn't here last year. This is the other thing. Like, when we say, like, everyone's here, no one is not here, you're like, oh, yeah, and Sarah Crowley's back.
Right, yeah.
And, like, you forget. And Sarah True, we mentioned, like, she got fourth here. That's not nothing.
Yeah. And we just kind of forget about it.
Just like, oh,
also got fourth in the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
Like,
All right.
Yeah.
And Lisa Norden, was fifth here last year on her first Kona, and I think she thinks she's ready to move up.
Yeah, we do not underestimate Lisa Norden. Like when Lisa Norden's on winning form, she can win.
Yeah.
Right? Like we saw her with that tough, like in 2012 Olympic Games. Like we've never seen a sprint finish like that. With her and Nicholas Spirig. So I don't know. Lisa Norden is a tough. You have to be tough out there.
Yeah,
and she is that.
I mean, my sentimental pick is, of course, Chelsea. I think I don't think you bet against the defending champ. And I appreciate that, like, she had some up and downs earlier this year. And people were like, she said this. People were literally being like, oh, well, at least she won Kona. You'll always have that. And she's like, wait, what the fuck? Like, what? Like, I'm still like, yeah. Like, I'm still really good. Yeah. I'm not like done. Yeah. What is happening here? And I know, I mean, she's talked about this, like halfway through the year, her husband kind of quit his job to take full-time childcare. And I think that changed a huge amount of things for them. Yeah. Like that just freed up a lot of stress, a lot of time. Yeah. Meant so that they could travel together too, which is big. And I think now it seems like, again, last year, she was coming around just in time. And I feel like now, again, it feels like she's coming around.
Well, and this is where that, like we were talking about at the top of the show, that intersection between like motherhood and actual athleticism come into play because like she needs that support from her husband or whomever in order to do the things that she does well. So, yeah.
It can play out any kind of way. Like, we don't know. But we did hear somebody ask in the press conference, and, you know, is the run course record, there are these amazing runners here, is the run course record of 250 in jeopardy? And she kind of told us it depends on how it plays out.
For you, such is the quality of runners on show, do you think the run course record will be broken, potentially by several athletes? And how fast do you think you can go?
That's a good question. I think for sure there's a lot of potential here. Be able to run really sub 251, I think. Yeah, but you know, 250. Oh, 250. Yeah, I mean, but like I said, it all depends how the race involves, and I think we see it in ITU that the run times doesn't step up so much like the swim times and bike times. So if the swim is just crucial and the bike is so fast, then maybe we can't break the record. But yeah, we will think we have to wait for Saturday. And if you manage to jump off the bike a little bit fresher than normal, then for sure it's possible.
All right. We've caveated everything. We have no idea what's going to happen. Anything could happen. I think the official, punching the numbers, has 7 people finishing within 4 minutes of each other, which basically means no one has any idea.
Wow.
Yeah, that's insane.
And that's without, people keep saying 7 people, but we saw last year, a dark horse can come out of quote unquote nowhere and win.
In all fairness, I had Chelsea picked for the podium last year anyway. But if you were going to if you have to pick, who are you going to pick, Sarah?
Okay. You put me in the spot. I had to think about this ahead of time.
Okay.
But the people that I'm seeing who I think might be ready, that we've seen from the press conference and the people we've interviewed, I don't really have an order for them.
Okay.
They could mix around.
Oh, but this is very, very caveat-y.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very caveat-y. I'm not non-committal.
Okay.
No, really. I picked 3. So I think my picks are Anne.
Okay.
Kat.
Okay.
And Laura Phillip.
Interesting.
I don't know why Laura has a last name. She could just be Laura.
Laura.
Yeah.
Well, there's multiple Lauras in the field, so I get made fun of when I just refer to Laura. All right. I'm going to back Chelsea. Okay.
Okay.
And then I also have Kat.
No, wait. To be clear, that's not who I'm backing.
No,
That's who I'm picking. Those are 2 different things.
I'm going to back Chelsea, and then I think also Kat. I think Kat. Kat, and then I have Anne all on third. Those are I'm going to go Chelsea, Kat, Anne. But I don't know. Then I have Lucy and Laura right after
I know.
So I don't know.
Whoever we pick, there's going to be something.
Right.
We're going to be wrong. Mess it up. We're going to be wrong.
We're going to be wrong.
For sure. Okay, I have a question for you because you actually know Chelsea personally, and I was thinking this morning when I was running, and do I think that pressure of the comeback?
Right. Sure.
So she won last year somewhat unexpectedly. She's had a massive life change because of it, right? All of the pressures of being returning champion, which I know from just being returning champion at an ordinary Ironman that's not here, right? So I can channel a little bit of that and trying to understand, so I can see how that would be really a big deal. And I have no doubt that Chelsea will be can be a multiple champion here. Yeah. I'm just not sure that
sure
turning it around in a year is possible. What do you think?
I don't know either, right? I am I think she's had a lot on her. You don't go in the New York Times and talk about mental health and postpartum and not read the comments, right? You know what I'm saying? You have and I appreciate that a lot of athletes because of that won't talk about things because they don't want to have to deal with that. That is a lot of stress to bring into a race and when you need to perform. So I appreciate that she's
done so much for women too and female athletes her.
So I appreciate that
advocacy.
And she might be, and I think what we're going to find out is she might be one of those people who actually it helps perform. We talked about Sarah True performs great when she has lots of things going on in her life and she's happy. Mm-hmm. And Chelsea might be one of those people who performs when there's a reason, when you feel the need. Yeah. I think it just depends on how you're always riding the line. The athletes, the best athletes in the world are always riding that line.
I know.
And it's are you past the line or are you just on this side of the line?
Yeah.
Because you have to ride it to be the best. And it's always did you go?
If that's the judgment, right?
Yeah.
It's who's on this side of the line?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm looking at I'm who's on the right side of the line here and who's standing.
My favorite, and then we'll go to ads. My favorite is the Sebi Canley told me. There are 20 guys in the world who can win. 10 of them show up overcooked. 5 will have a bad day. So I will only have to beat 4 guys.
Right. So. That's a good. But I love how within the quote he's actually excluding himself. I think he's done everything perfectly.
I've done everything right.
Assuming I've done everything right, this is what's going to happen.
All right, we're going to hear from a few of our sponsors, and then when we come back, we'll talk about what we're going to do on race day.
With leading micronutrition products. nervous system health. We have all been using it, and it has been a game changer for our sleep and recovery scores. We love the berry flavor and take it with our shakers 30 minutes before bed every night. To try Pillar for yourself today, head to thefeed.com/pillar and use code FEISTY for 15% off your order. Or if you're outside the US, head to pillarperformance.shop and use the same code FEISTY. Pieces from Core are designed with one thing in mind, reducing your aerodynamic drag so you can go faster with no additional effort. Looking to shave a few minutes off your Ironman bike? Core's Zeal Tri-Kit is here for you. It's perfect for fast days, recovery days, and everything in between. All of Core's triathlon clothing is created specifically to fit, flatter, and perform when training and racing, so you can fully focus on being awesome. And you can get 15% off all clothing at coresports.com with the code RDAY. That's 15% off at coresports.com with the code RDAY. Chasing epic is the essence of the Orca brand. It is about seeking the moments in life that make us feel truly alive and connected with the beauty of the world around us. There is something about being immersed in the open water, the crash of the waves, the roar of the wind, the taste of the salt water on your lips, and the warmth of sunlight on your skin that makes you feel at home. With a history of designing performance wetsuits for triathletes since 1995, Orca's unwavering commitment to advanced, innovative swimwear empowers you to overcome your limits. Whether you're competing in a triathlon or swimming to challenge yourself, Orca's fit-for-purpose garments are designed to meet your needs. Use the code IRONWOMAN15 for 15% off all items at orca.com. That's IRONWOMAN15 for 15% off all items at orca.com.
All right, I have to say we've been having a few Wi-Fi problems here in our island studio. It's almost like we're in the middle of an ocean.
I know.
Yeah,
That's why we're having Wi-Fi
guys,
problems.
If you miss some bits, it'll all be on the podcast feed later on the Feisty Triathlon podcast feed. Don't worry. We won't let you down.
If you miss some of Kelly and I rambling on about the race, you can catch it later.
Our brilliant insight.
Right.
And so, Sarah, tomorrow's race day, bright and early. Where will we be? What will we be doing?
Okay, well, 5:30 in the morning, we're going to be sitting along the pier,
Yes.
right at where the start line is.
Yes.
Waiting. Oh yeah, when the gun goes off and it's like right beside us. And like last year, I almost fell into the ocean.
You try not to drop your phone in. This pro tip. Don't drop your phone in the ocean when the canyon goes off. Yeah.
Pro tip. Yeah. And we'll be out there, like we'll be doing all of our coverage on Instagram. So we'll be like uploading some stories. Sometimes it's hard to find places to upload because everyone's streaming on race day. So if it's a bit behind, we will try to find the nearest Wi-Fi for you and get it to you straight away.
And I also feel like I should say, you can watch the women it is free. It is streaming live on Ironman's Facebook, YouTube, and I believe Ironman Live. It starts at 6:25 Hawaii time, which is 12:25 East Coast PM, because we're 6 hours. But they start the actual coverage like an hour and a half with dramatic body marking shots. Like they really build up the storyline, which I'm always like, okay.
Yeah. Well, that goes along with everything else. Like there's been a lot of dramatic build up.
Wristbands this week that get us into body marking if we want to also build up dramatic
our
body
version
marking.
of dramatic body marking content, we will be there for you.
And then of course we go to brunch. After they get out on the bike, you go to brunch. That's the key.
Also, pro tip number 2. Amazing. Yeah. So mostly we're going to be watching and cheering.
Yes,
I think.
definitely watching and cheering.
Yeah.
It's funny, like when we were here last year and like the women's race, you're out there and you're cheering for everybody. We know, like personally know, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
20% of the people out there. And then the men's race the next day, you're like, oh, good job, boys.
Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah. I know some guys, but I don't know all of them, right?
We're more invested in this race. I think that's fair to say. Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, post race, we will be at the awards, and we will have our post race show. And we asked Lucy if what she will be doing post race. Will she get another dog?
I mean, probably, yeah. Do you not get anything? Do your mum and dad know about this? My mum and dad will definitely say no because they've got my 2 dogs currently, and I know they want a dog of their own, but I don't think they want real ones. So yeah, we'll have to see. We have to see.
I guess it comes with a joke, right? One year she was like, if I win, I get 2 dogs. Second, 1 dog. Third, 0 dogs.
Yeah, I feel like if this is Lucy's year and she hits the top spot, like
She
she
can
can
have
have whatever
another
she
dog,
can have
yeah.
whatever she wants.
Yeah.
At that point,
Many
you
dogs, a car. I don't care. Yeah. I mean, Lucy can buy all the cars. I think she does okay.
know? Probably.
We still also have our giveaway.
Oh yeah. So we're doing a big contest for Watch the Women. It is pinned right to the top of our face or our Instagram. Go in there. There are, I think, how many? 9 chances to win, Ella? Yeah, there's 9 chances to win. So,
Sorry.
oh, sorry.
Okay.
Okay,
There are 9 different ways to enter. There's only one massive, big island grand prize.
Yeah, and it is a good prize. So go check that out and sign up if you haven't already. I know I'm like super excited. I almost can't believe that race day's here already. I find myself thinking like, oh, it's okay. We still got a couple days till race day. Like, nope. It's tomorrow.
Just because you weren't counting the sleeps. That's what threw you.
That's what threw me.
Yeah.
If only I'd gone back to counting the sleep. Santa is coming tomorrow. I'm so excited to watch this race unfold. It's definitely historic for several reasons, not least because of the depth of the field,
Right.
and because it's a women's only race.
It'll be very exciting. So tune in and we will be back after the race.